One of our board members who you will not hear from today is Val Stevenson. Val, could I just ask you to stand up? Val is a CPA and auditor up in the northern part of our county. I've known Val for several years in a personal endeavor, and the only reason she's not speaking, she's still trying to make sense of this month's financials. So the jury's still out on how we're doing. The organizations between the middle schools and the public school systems, and in many cases the business owners in this room are institutions of higher education. And we have both represented, a couple of them represented today, and I'd like to invite Dave Khaliqi, who's working on STEM initiatives at UCCS, to say a few words. Dave?
I just want to thank you for the opportunity to be here, and I want to talk for my 5 minutes here, all right, 5 minutes of culture. When I met with Tolia and I over at UCCS, what jumped out at me was the culture of high expectations in the international framework. Dave mentioned it at the very beginning. High academic standards, high academic culture, but then a culture of expecting and viewing myself as a student to go on and do certain things. So, for example, the interesting little survey done with kids in India, if they asked what were the top five things they wanted to go into, the majority of those were a STEM or engineering based. The number one was software engineer. So rolling off the tongue of a little kid or a middle school kid in India was, I want to be a software engineer. This was akin to in the United States, I want to be a football player or an American Idol or something of that nature. Entertainment. That's a culture. That's a cultural issue. And there are expectations within those systems that produce the outcomes that can reach those goals. And I think that through talking to Tolia, but in addition to seeing these Carmel Middle School kids come to us for different STEM activities, that is what sold us. And so I want to talk just really quickly about what we are talking about bringing and what we're doing with Carmel already in the notion of this culture. And one of the primary culture that we try to integrate into our workshops is robust failure. So what I mean by robust failure is that in addition to high quality content, to have a student who is ready, to have the agility of mind, who is ready to jump into a really complicated engineering type of problem, there has to be a notion that I can fail. Failure has to be an option, because if it's not a problem really worth tackling, right? We get our largest advances through failure, and that is what we try to set our programs up to be. So, for example, the notion that we are, excuse me, we are speaking with Seed the Change about is aligning our curricula, our hands-on curricula at the Center for STEM Education to the curriculum that they are doing in their classrooms. And I've heard multiple times that the curriculum in the classroom is moving them up into critical thinking, being able to take the base content and apply it critically. What we want to be able to do when they come to us for an enrichment program or a camp of some sort, they take that critical thinking and content level knowledge and then apply it to real life engineering projects. So for example, when they're talking about magnetism in their classroom, when they would come to us, we would be having them design a magnetic maglev vehicle, a vehicle that levitates on a magnetic field, and then talk about friction, all these forces that they've been talking about, and they are designing in a small scale the next generation of a transportation solution. Or when they talk about laws of reflection, they're going out and they're building parabolic solar cookers and actually testing these things, and the ultimate goal of that is to make a s'more. A STEM-based s'more. Melt a marshmallow with your own parabolic solar cooker. And really, it is just taking it to the next logical step up. High expectation, high quality content in the classroom, generating an ability to think critically, coming and now being put in a situation where failure is an option. My marshmallow might not melt. And why? Now we can go back and we can talk about the physics around those things. Where I was totally sold. We've had Carmel kids coming to us for about 4 years now, and we're actually hosting a group of 85 students for 3 weeks over the summer. students came to us and we were doing a solar car type of activity. They were able to talk. They kind of blew me out of the water because I had about 30 minutes of run-up presentation, all planned, ready to go for background information, and they had it. When they came in the door, my plan went out the window because they knew about magnetism, they knew how a motor turns into a generator, they knew about flow of electrons. We could talk about Ohm's law, and we got right to business. So it was, when I saw that 2 days later, I met with Anatoly, and it took us all of 5 minutes to align our curriculum to topics that are going to see the change. And I am so excited because this is the way it has to happen. It's systemic, and it's nothing amazingly new. So for example, we can do those things with a pizza box and some tinfoil. And we can talk major physics and major engineering applications. So I'm very excited about this partnership. I'm very excited about hosting students on our campus for 3 weeks. And last cultural piece that I want to add is the culture, a college-going culture, a college-going experience. When we see Carmel students, and we work with lots of students from the southern end of town, when we see those students come onto campus for the first time, there is a significant light that goes on. This is college. This is a college. One question is, do you have vending machines? That's been, sure, yeah, we have vending machines. College has vending machines. But they start to see themselves in a position where they are at college, they are having success at college, they're interacting with professors, and it starts to loosen that mystery, that shroud that is around the campus. And that is a major, major factor of students moving on, especially in lower SES and underrepresented populations, that they move on to that next level. They can see themselves and they had experience doing it. So I am very excited about this partnership, and I thank you for the opportunity to talk about it, and I'll pass it on.